Hey cat lovers, and welcome back to another video. Who doesn't love a good story, especially when it's true? That's why we went searching for amazing stories about cats. Some of these tales are inspiring, some are amusing, and others are simply adorable. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing to our channel for more cat videos. Now we suggest you cozy up with your feline friend as you listen to these amazingly true cat stories. Number 1. The cat who traveled 40 miles. Earlier this year, a cat named Oliver made news headlines after he made a very impressive journey. The story starts on May 21st when Oliver's family was moving across West Virginia from Bridgeport to Morgantown. While the door was constantly opening and closing during the moving process, Oliver accidentally got out. Unable to find the cat, the family had to move without him. Devastated, the family continually went back to the old house every weekend in hopes of finding him. Once the house was sold in July, they even let the new owners know what happened in case Oliver turned up on their watch. Oliver was finally reunited with his family 2 months later, but it's not because anyone found him. It's because Oliver found them. One day, Oliver miraculously appeared in his family's new yard, which is 40 miles away from their old home. Although visibly tired, Oliver was totally fine and happy to be home. The family knew it was him, especially since he had the exact same flea collar. However, in case you have any doubts, they did take him to the vet to check the microchip. To no surprise, the microchip verified what they already knew, that it was definitely Oliver. Number 2. The cat who was found after 5 years. A black cat named Sasha disappeared from his home in Portland, Oregon. The owner, Victor, reported his cat missing but eventually lost hope. He thought that Sasha must have been the victim of a coyote. You can probably imagine how devastated Victor must have been, especially since he had described Sasha as the friendliest cat he ever knew. 5 years later, Sasha was found wandering the streets of Santa Fe, New Mexico. That's more than 1,300 miles away from his home. Thankfully, he was microchipped, so the Santa Fe Animal Shelter was able to find the owner's contact information. Victor was in medical school at the time, so making the long journey to another state would have been a challenge. Thankfully, Sasha was flown back to Portland to be reunited with his family thanks to American Airlines. This story highlights the importance of microchipping pets. Number 3. The cat who found the perfect home. Bubbles is a cat with a rare condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS. This genetic condition causes collagen to not form correctly, which makes the skin extra loose, stretchy, and fragile. Since the skin is so delicate, it can easily tear. Bubbles was waiting for her forever home at a shelter in Los Angeles, but it certainly wasn't easy. To prevent Bubbles from hurting herself, the staff had to baby-proof her room, put nail caps on her claws, and keep a cone collar around her neck. Understandably, many people were hesitant to adopt Bubbles because they didn't think they could handle all of her needs. Now here's where the match made in heaven started. Toby, another cat with the same condition, went viral on Instagram. One day, Bubbles was featured in one of Toby's Instagram stories after his family learned about her from a comment left by a shelter employee. Luckily, a woman named Cece, who also has EDS, started following Toby's Instagram. Cece contacted the shelter and ended up adopting Bubbles. Cece and Bubbles now live happily together in New York. They even have an Instagram at BubbleWrapTheCat, which highlights their lives together. Number 4. The cat who kidnapped bunnies. A cat named Missy gave birth to 2 sickly kittens who both died soon after. Missy would search the house for her kittens as she cried and called for them. Do you have the tissues out yet? One day, Missy carried a baby bunny by its scruff through her cat door. Minutes later, Missy came back with yet another baby bunny, then another, and another. If you've been counting along, that's a total of 4 bunnies that Missy brought home. Or should I say, kidnapped. As a heartbroken mother, Missy was trying to take in the bunnies as her own kittens. She snuggled beside the bunnies and started grooming them. Missy also tried to nurse them, but she no longer had any milk supply. As cute as this arrangement was, Missy's owners knew the bunnies wouldn't survive this way. So they looked for their birth mother. Thankfully, they found the nest and returned the bunnies to their mom and siblings. The next day, they checked the nest and all the bunnies, including Mama Bunny, were gone. It sounds like the mom was afraid Missy would kidnap her kids again, so she hightailed it out of there. Although this story doesn't have a happy ending for Missy, it's amazing to see how deep a mother's love is, no matter the species. Number 5. The cat who treed a bear. Jack was a 15-pound orange and white cat in West Milford, New Jersey. He was known to be quite the guard cat. His usual duty was chasing small animals that cats typically go after, such as birds and squirrels. However, in 2006, Jack made news headlines after he chased a bear up a tree. Apparently, bear sightings aren't uncommon in West Milford, since experts consider the town to be one of the state's most bear-populated areas. But unlucky for this bear, it just so happened that he picked the wrong yard to mess with. Jack's owner, Donna, thought he was simply staring at the bear up in the tree until she realized he was hissing at the frightened bear. After about 15 minutes, the bear finally came down, only to be treed a second time. This is one brave cat. Donna was understandably worried about Jack's safety, so she brought her self-proclaimed guard cat inside so the bear could leave. Number 6. The cat who predicted deaths. A rescue cat named Oscar became famous after his extraordinary ability to predict deaths. Oscar was adopted in 2005 by the Steer House Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Providence, Rhode Island, where he lived as a therapy cat. His floor was the dementia unit, where he would regularly make rounds to see what's going on. Sometimes he would choose to curl up with a patient. Oftentimes, the patients he chose to stay with would die within hours. His predictions were so accurate that whenever he cozied up with a patient, relatives and a priest were called. By January 2010, Oscar accurately predicted 50 deaths. Oscar's story was so incredible that Dr. David Dosa wrote a book about it called Making Rounds with Oscar, which we'll have linked in the description box below. So how is Oscar's eerie ability even possible? Dr. Dosa speculates that Oscar was smelling cells that were starting to break down. As we mentioned on this channel several times before, cats have an excellent sense of smell, so this theory sounds very plausible. Sadly, Oscar passed away earlier this year at 17 years old. Number 7. The cat who bus hopped by himself. Back in 2011, a 15-year-old ginger cat named Dodger made UK news headlines after regularly bus hopping by himself. His owner, Mrs. Jeans, lived right behind a bus station. Apparently, the buses got the best of Dodger's curiosity because he would patiently wait at the station for a bus to arrive. Since cats were attracted to warm places, that was probably part of his reasoning for wanting to get on a bus. Just like any other passenger, he would hop on and ride away. Eventually, he became familiar to the drivers, so they would keep him on board until his home stop. His full trip was from Bridgeport to Charmouth in Dorset, which is a 10-mile round trip. Mrs. Jeans found out about Dodger's adventures after her daughter Emily told her that a friend spotted Dodger on a bus. Mrs. Jean panicked and went to look for him. At that moment, a bus pulled up to the stop near her house and Dodger got off. Mrs. Jean found out from the drivers that Dodger was a regular. Apparently, he liked to sit on the seats because they were warm from people sitting on them. While the bus company didn't actively encourage his free rides, they didn't exactly mind either. After all, Dodger was just living his best life. Number 8. The cat who saved a life. In 2013, Amy visited the Door County Humane Society in Wisconsin with her son Ethan. Amy did not plan on adopting a cat. Her and Ethan simply wanted to visit and play with the cats. During her visit, she came across a ginger cat named Pudding. Pudding was described as a calm, relaxed, and friendly cat. While Amy was there, he seemingly gravitated towards her. I think you know where this story is headed. Amy ended up adopting Pudding. That very same night, Amy ended up having a diabetic seizure. Amy had been living with diabetes since she was a child. Amazingly, Pudding jumped into action by stepping on her chest to try to wake her up. When that didn't work, he swatted at her face and bit her nose, which finally woke her. Amy then called her son for help, and Pudding assisted by jumping on Ethan's bed to alert him. Doctors told Amy that she could have gone into an irreversible coma had she not been woken. After that incident, Amy registered Pudding as a therapy animal as her doctor advised. I hope these cat stories not only entertained you, but also inspired you. If you enjoyed them, please give this video a thumbs up because it helps other cat lovers find our content. These are just 9 of the many amazing cat stories out there, so let us know in the comments if you want more story content in the future. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next Catterday for another video.